Hi, my name's Kate Stormer over here at the CEO Host, and I wanted to address some comments I've seen recently about having a direct booking strategy to improve your property's performance. Having a direct booking strategy, while I wholeheartedly suggest that this is a strategy to incorporate into your short term rental business, is not a solution to a property that isn't performing well. And I'd like to share with you why that is, okay? But first, I want to sort of step back and suggest that if I'm newly coming into the industry and I have a second home or I want to, invest in short term rentals and I'm going to self manage, there's a really easy, sort of out of the box solution that is going to help me start getting bookings right away. Because if I have to rely on my own skills and abilities and SEO, search engine optimization, in order to get enough people's eyes on my property in order to book it, I am not going to have a full calendar for a long time. But by putting my property on Airbnb and or VRBO, these are incredible machines that can get eyes on your property immediately, right? And so I think of this as the franchise model. So by saying I'm going to get on Airbnb and I'm going to run my business out of Airbnb, that is a really fantastic model because it's sort of an out of the box solution, right? It gives you marketing, it helps you with your operations, it does all the sales piece for you. It's really streamlines things for you. You literally can get a listing up on Airbnb if you've got your photos all set within like 10 minutes. I kid you not. And people will see it, within a couple of hours. And potentially you'll get a booking within a couple of days. If you were doing this all on your own and you were building out a website and you were trying to communicate out about your property, getting enough people to know about your property is quite a challenge. So the booking platforms have made it really easy for us. So because direct bookings allow us to get bookings without going through those platforms, they are a great strategy. They're also a great strategy because we have to pay those platforms for the privilege. And so by not outsourcing a booking or a number of bookings to those platforms, we are retaining some of those costs ourselves, with that we're not paying out. So that immediately allows us to keep more of the money that we're getting. The second benefit is that we are not held to their rules and policies, right? Which for some folks is a big deal. But we're also giving up sort of that streamlining that happens, and we're giving up the marketing effort on our behalf, which in the long term is actually a good thing. But in order to get there, we need time. So getting listed in a way that you can be seen for your website through search engine optimization takes time. It takes a lot of effort if you're not going to lean into having these big platforms do it. And beyond that, there's a factor of trust. So people who are booking, they trust Airbnb and they trust Vrbo to help them if things go wrong. So you kind of have to get over the oomph. So not only do people's eyes have to get on your property, but they have to be willing to work with you one-on-one and not going through these platforms. So I hope that this perspective is helpful. If you are considering a direct booking strategy because your property isn't performing, while I think it can be helpful, I would caution you at this moment from putting too much effort in that, because I think there are other things you can be doing to optimize your property's performance without needing to go through and invest money in a direct booking website right now. Further, for a fairly low amount of effort and almost no investment, you can actually get a direct booking strategy going, because really all you need is a really solid rental agreement, which honestly at this point with ChatGPT, you can get a really good model agreement. You can update that with your specific house rules, and you can send that to your legal advisor who can review that for much less than if they were coming up with one from scratch, right? So you need a direct booking agreement. You need a way to get a security deposit. But I would tell you now, rather than a security deposit, just make your guests pay for damage insurance. So it's relatively inexpensive depending on your property and the amount of coverage that you'd like to get. But for example, one of my properties, um, my it's for $40, and I actually upcharge that just a little bit to pay for the administrative overhead. So I charge $47 for $10,000 worth of damage insurance coverage, which if they were booking on Verbo, they'd get $1,500 worth of damage insurance coverage for like $59 or $69. So it's actually cheaper to go through Wavo. And the third thing that you need is a way to take money. And certainly there are many ways these days that people can take money. Stripe, you can go through PayPal, you can go through Venmo. I legit have a couple of people who are routine direct bookers. So they book my property, one of my properties every year. They send me a check in the mail. And I require having payment in hand with at least 2 weeks prior to arrival. So I know I get the check, it's in the bank, it's cleared, there are no fees associated with it. So with just those three things, you can offer your returning guests the opportunity to book direct with you, and that will get you started without even needing a website. If you do any organic posting, such as on Facebook or on Instagram for your property, rather than linking them to your Airbnb or your Vrbo listing, or in addition to linking to those listings, you can just say, DM me or message me or email me here to book direct and save on fees. And so that's a really good intermediary step for a direct booking without a ton of effort and expense. While if you're, again, dealing with maybe a property you'd like to see doing better from a revenue perspective, you can dive into some other ideas and things that might help elevate your performance on platform as well. Okay.